My name is Grace Ogala. I bring you good news from Amazing Grace Health Center. The topic of our discussion is the farewell ceremony for diabetes and the 4DM steps to overcome diabetes. I created this 4DM model at the lowest point in my life when I was diagnosed of diabetes with a blood sugar of 428 and A1C of 10.1. I knew the true definition of diabetes on that day. That diabetes is a disease of elevated blood sugar because my blood sugar was 428. And I tell you, I almost ended up in a medical emergency, if not for the grace of God. I took insulin, I saw the doctor, and I was prescribed medications. Thank God for that. And the signs of diabetes is increased frequency of urine, increased thirst, drinking so much water, eating too much, being fatigued all the time, slow healing wounds, and just finding yourself depressed out of nowhere. Diabetes affects the body in so many ways. And also, the risk factors of diabetes of which I had was my age. I was in my 40s when I was diagnosed of diabetes. And also, I have a family history of diabetes. And also, my race was not helpful. I'm an African American. And also, I was recovering from COVID at the time I was diagnosed. And I just completed a course of steroids, the Medro dose pack. And when my blood test was done, they found that I had so much antibodies of COVID. So all of this didn't really help me at the time that I was diagnosed of diabetes. And also at the time, I was obese. I was 258 pounds. And also my lifestyle was not the best at that time. You know, we're just getting out of COVID at the time. And I was not as active as I used to be. And so I gained so much weight. And at that time I was working from home. I took some time off to work from home, even though I actually worked in the isolation center. So working from home just kind of decreased my activity level, okay? And also my diet was not the best. At that time, I was mainly eating carbohydrate food. And you know, with diabetes, you cannot eat so much carbohydrate food, you know, because with diabetes, you already have a problem with blood sugar. And if you continue to eat more carbohydrate food, you will end up with elevated blood sugar. So I had so much issues in hand. And also my stress level at the time was not helpful because I was working 2 jobs. Even though my full-time job was working from home, my part-time job was going in the clinic. And I was working 7 days a week. And also my sleeping habit was not the best, not sleeping enough. It is recommended that we get at least 6 to 8 hours of sleep, but I was only sleeping for 2 to 3 hours, which was not really helpful. And my cortisol hormone was likely very high. And when your cortisol hormone is high, there's likelihood that your blood sugar will be elevated. So at the time I was diagnosed, I had so much against me. So I struggled through that period of time in my life. And it was hard to get my blood sugar down from 428. And at the time, I used my experience to help myself. And also, I used my education to help myself. It was a combination of everything that helped me out. And so I came up with these 4 steps to overcome diabetes. And the first step is what I'll be discussing with us today. The very first step was discovery. I wrote it down. I said, I have to discover myself to be able to recover from this diabetes. And I discovered that I was a high risk for diabetes. I had everything against me, like I mentioned before. I was obese. And I knew at once that I need to lose weight because obesity is a major cause of type 2 diabetes. And I changed my lifestyle. I started doing the right thing. And then also I discovered that my family history, I have diabetes, and that I cannot change. That is a non-modifiable risk factor. And also my eating habits, I discovered I was not the best, like I mentioned before, and I knew I needed to change that as well. Okay, and then my stress level. I made that plan to just kind of change my lifestyle, get a day off at least to rest. Even God rested. Why shouldn't I rest? And I started working 6 days a week instead of 7 days a week. And I started sleeping, for more hours. Instead of sleeping 2 to 3 hours, I started sleeping up to 6 hours. And that was very helpful to me. I paid attention to my body. I took care of my body, okay? And I discovered so much about myself. And with the medications I was taking, I was very cautious. And I didn't have to take the Medro dose pack because I was done taking that. Thankfully, I've recovered from COVID. It was just a one-time prescription of medication. And also, I also discovered I was not drinking enough water. You need to drink a lot of water to flush out blood sugar out of your body, to get the blood sugar level down. So I discovered so much about my body. And that is the first stage of overcoming diabetes. So I went on to, put down another stage of overcoming diabetes. And that was the stage of determination. So I told myself I have to recover now that I've discovered all my problems. And then at the determination stage, I made a commitment to myself that I have to make changes to be able to overcome diabetes. I was determined to exercise at least 30 minutes a day, at least 5 days a week. Honestly speaking, I exercise 7 days a week. And I took about 8,000 to 10,000 steps a day. And I exercise every muscle of my body. That is so important. As a diabetic, you should do some resistance exercise. You should lift weights, okay? You should get on that elliptical and work out on it. Go on the treadmill. Do some workouts. Go on the stationary bike and exercise. Even the ab crunches, you should do it. Stretching exercise, go outside and take a walk. Jog around your neighborhood. Honestly speaking, I did exercise for over an hour each day, okay? Please do not engage in exercise all at the same time, all right? Break it into 3. Maybe in the morning, exercise for 10 minutes after eating breakfast. In the afternoon, exercise for 10 minutes. And in the evening, exercise for 10 minutes. And when you exercise, be cautious of your blood sugar. Please check your blood sugar before you start exercise. Make sure it's above 100 before you start exercise because exercise lowers blood sugar. And make sure you notify your doctor to give you the best advice before you start exercise routine. And also, I was determined to change what I eat. I started eating more healthy. And as you know, it is recommended that we eat food that are healthy. And I used the plate method while I was trying to make my food selections. Half of my plate is fruits and vegetables, 1/4 of the plate is carbohydrates, and 1/4 of the plate is protein. And that was the food pattern that I used to overcome diabetes. And maybe at breakfast, I just fill up my plates with fruits and vegetables, some lettuce, some blueberries, some strawberries. And then with the carbohydrates, I love oats, the still called old-fashioned oats. which is very healthy, is high in chromium. And chromium is very good for diabetic patients. And also with the protein section of my plate, I could just get a strip of bacon or fry one egg. And that was breakfast. If I wanted to go the route of eating bread, I chose the wheat bread over the white bread. And one slice of bread is just enough to be 25% of the meal. And then added some fruits and vegetables as usual. That should be 50% of your food, the fruits and vegetables. You can make it into smoothies as well, all right? And also my protein was just like one fried scrambled egg or omelette, all right? Or if I wanted to eat some cereal, get like half cup of Cheerios. Cheerios is very healthy for diabetic patients. Add milk, the fat-free milk, almond milk, and also I can eat bacon as my protein. This was my pattern of food for breakfast, which was less than 500 calories in the morning. Then in the afternoon, I was determined to eat healthy as well. Get a bowl of salad, add some grilled chicken to it, and some breadcrumbs as lunch. Then in the evening, I enjoy eating soup, and I made vegetable soup. Vegetable soup like okra soup, the bitter leaf soup, the spinach soup, the collard green soup are very healthy for diabetic patients. I added some turkey, or maybe sometimes I add fish or chicken, and then I would just enjoy it. All right, add a lot of water to it. And my best drink is water. And I often add lemon to my water. You know, lemon is very good for the body. All right, the lemon cleanses your body from blood sugar and cholesterol. Make it a habit of drinking lemon water every day. And the water content you should drink every day is about half of your body weight. If you weigh 200 pounds, please drink at least 100 ounces of water. That is so important for you. Okay? And this was my determination stage. Changing my ways, being determined to be a better me. Avoid eating ice cream. Be determined to say no to ice cream. You understand? Just having that zest in you and said, I got to change. I got to change my lifestyle. That is the determination stage. Okay? Then I moved on to the third stage. I wrote it down. I said, okay, now that I am determined to change, there could be temptations here and there. And I wrote down discipline as the third stage. I have to be disciplined to be able to achieve my goal. Disciplined enough to say no to ice cream. Disciplined enough to go to birthday parties and say, no, I will not eat the sweet cake. People know me at work. They wouldn't even invite me to come and eat any birthday cake. But they usually tell me, oh, Grace, there is blueberry there for you to eat. All right? And that's what I do best. I just go there, get some blueberry, or if they have food, I take the salmon fish and some salad. And if they have corn on the cob or sweet potato, I add it on as my carbohydrates. People know me to make very healthy selections. And I take pride in doing that. And that comes from being disciplined while eating. Okay? And I'm disciplined enough to create time for myself every day to exercise. Even when it's so busy at work, I still make out time to exercise. During my lunch break, I take 10 minutes out of my lunch break time to take a walk around. Okay, because I need that exercise. Because if I don't, if I sit on my chair all day long, eating my lunch, eating everything I have and don't exercise, my blood sugar will be elevated at the end of the shift. And also, I was disciplined enough to sleep for longer hours. There is tendency and there's temptation to watch movies, watch this, even, what I'm not even supposed to tell you about, and, even be on Facebook and be watching and looking at things and not fall asleep on time. The temptations are all there. But I instill discipline into myself because I want to overcome diabetes. And I try to get in bed like about 12 o'clock. I know it's not the best time though. You should sleep about 9 o'clock. But I tried my best to sleep about 12 o'clock and be awake at 6 o'clock. All right, at least to get 6 hours of sleep, at least. But it's recommended you get 8 hours like I mentioned before. And also, I decrease my stress level, disciplined enough. Cut down on many of my expenses so I don't have to work 7 days a week and work 6 days a week. All right? That was a part of me, and it took discipline to achieve that. All right? And also another part of discipline that I instilled in me was my dental care. No matter how tired I am, I still make out time to brush my teeth at night before I sleep and use mouthwash. Because if I don't do that, the bacteria from morning, afternoon, and evening accumulates in my mouth overnight and can lead to elevated blood sugar in the morning. And that's not good for a diabetic patient. Okay? And also, I was disciplined enough to take my medications as prescribed. I try not to skip any dose of medication. Even I try to take my vitamins because I need them for healthy living. And I also discipline myself enough to drink lots of water because my body needs water to function. And I make out time every week to pack up my fruits and vegetables for the week. That was a part of discipline. And also discipline myself enough not to eat fast food. Buying food from our restaurant here and there, no, that's not for you as a diabetic patient. Diabetic patients should cook their food. It's when you cannot cook your food absolutely, maybe you traveled out or something, that's when you buy something from the restaurant or the fast food restaurant or whatever you have out there. And if you need to buy food outside, be very cautious where you go. Go to places that sell good and healthy food because you are very unique as a diabetic patient and you should be very disciplined. Say no to sugary drink. Say no to sweet drinks like 5 Alive, 10 Alive, 20 Alive, or whatever you have out there. Say no to drinking sodas, sweet sodas. They tell you, oh, this is the latest. This is the ice cream. This is the new yogurt. It has the 20 grams of sugar, 50 grams of sugar. That's not for you as a diabetic patient. You are sweet enough already. Why do you want to add extra sugar to what you have going on? You should be disciplined as a diabetic. Very disciplined. When you go visit somebody, you should not be looking for all the sweet things in that party. You should be disciplined. Very important as a diabetic patient. Stay with your diet plan. Tell them you don't eat sugary food, you don't eat a lot of carbohydrate, that your food you mostly eat is fruits and vegetables. And people will respect you for what you say. Okay? More fiber food is what you should eat. If you need to eat rice, eat brown rice. It's expensive, but save up money to buy brown rice instead of the white rice. Save up money to buy wheat bread instead of the white bread. Okay? High protein food. Do your protein shakes. Eat good food. And if you need to snack on food, almond nut is very good for you. Peanut is also okay. And if you need to drink something like the probiotic Greek yogurt is also very good for you. Just have healthy selections and be disciplined in your ways. And the fourth stage that I wrote down was doing. Doing is the last stage. At the doing stage is when you put everything into action. You wrap it all up. Okay? You start doing things. Remember the Bible says faith without work is dead. So You have to work it out. Work it out for it to happen. What you have discovered, you have to work it out. What you have determined to change, you have to work it out at the doing stage. And since you have told yourself you have to be disciplined, you have to show it. And that's the action stage. And that is the stage where I am right now. And I will share this with you. I woke up this morning when I checked my blood sugar was 84. I was very impressed because it is recommended that your blood sugar should be 70 to 99 when you wake up. And that's the fasting blood sugar. If my blood sugar was 130 when I woke up today, it's not good. That means I'm pre-diabetic. If I woke up this morning, my blood sugar was 200. That is terrible. I need to place a call to my doctor. Because 200%, like I told you last week, is not a good grade in the diabetic ward. In the educational ward, they will say, oh, very intelligent child. But in the world of diabetes, it's a failing grade. That means your diabetes is uncontrolled and you are at risk for complications of diabetes like we discussed last week. And you don't want to go that route and have elevated blood sugar and complications of diabetes, which are very dangerous to have. Okay? So we have said a lot of things today. And one thing I want you to gain from this is that you need to be disciplined to be able to overcome diabetes. For you to be able to have a farewell ceremony for diabetes, you need to discover what you're doing wrong. You need to discover why your blood sugar is elevated. You have to be determined to make changes. Okay? And you have to be disciplined to follow all the changes that you have mapped out to make. And you have to get into the action stage of achieving your goals. Thank you for your time in listening to me. Please subscribe to my channel on YouTube. Please follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and everywhere you find my name. Until we meet again, stay blessed. We are healed in Jesus' name. Bye.